So growing up, I think when I was in grade 5, so I started attending official, martial art classes.
Okay.
So now I was the only one in the street.
Okay.
So what I did then is that over the weekend, I would then run my own classes, trying to kind of replicate that which I've learned, during the week, and teaching basically my peers that were not fortunate enough to be able to attend those classes.
Right.
So then in the process, they then started calling me, we're going to ninjas classes, So that's basically how I picked up the name.
Royal Hustlers is proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation.
Good today, better tomorrow.
Time for a Royal Hustler. Good morning. It is Script and Mo in the morning. No, it is not Sibo. Sibo is not here. It's Script. Script has taken over. He has, what's the word? Colonized the breakfast show this morning. But Royal Hustler, and today's program is a man by the name of Samuel Ndahangwapo. He is a PwC assurance partner. Now get this, in 2008, Samuel, in his infinite wisdom, decided to join PwC as a trainee accountant and qualified as a CA in 2011. After 3 years of training and completion of 2 qualifying examinations, by 2014, he was appointed as a partner at PwC, and he describes his role as a partner to be one of the most enhancing the credibility of financial information of businesses and institutions in training and developing of aspiring chartered accountants. Samuel, thank you so much for joining us, and it is an absolute pleasure having you in our company this morning.
Thank you very much. So I'm also excited to be here.
Before we get to your work, we want to know the man behind the man. Tell us a bit about yourself. Where, how, who, why? Where were you born? How were you raised? Where were you raised, Evans?
Okay, well, I was born and bred, in Shakati. So that's where I grew up, and I lived most of my life in the north. So in the end, I only came to Windhoek actually because of studies.
Right.
Yeah. So I have about 20 siblings.
20?
Yeah, 20 siblings. So from my dad's side.
Okay.
And then we are like 8 from my mom's side, and I'm the third. So I did my primary education in Shakati, so at a school called Ingozi. So that's what we refer to it. It's well known basically as such, and it's kind of like referred to the former principal that we have given a nickname Ingozi, and then that basically name sticked, throughout.
Right.
Yeah. So then I did my high school at Gabieta Popi. And then after that, of course, after successfully completing grade 12, I joined UNAM.
Yeah.
And then after that, went to Rhodes, to do my postgraduate diploma in chartered accountancy. And then after that, I then came back home, and then I joined PwC in 2008.
And it's been smooth sailing ever since?
Yeah, so I'm a father, a husband.
Yeah.
So I have about 4 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm married for 11 years now.
Are we gonna get to 20? So, look, growing up on the streets of Shakati, and then you sharing your story with us. What were your biggest dreams? Was being an accountant, a CA, part of that dream? Did you want to be an accountant growing up, or what exactly did you want to do?
Well, during our time, I've never heard of such as chartered accountancy until actually I got to UNAM.
Right.
Yeah, so that's actually very interesting. I wanted to be an accountant, but then we thought people that wanted to be accountant only work in the bank. So my dream basically was working
in
for
the
the
bank.
bank, because accountant, counting the money.
Of course.
That's basically what we linked, the whole profession to. So I had a kind of like a terrible experience, in grade 10 with the accounting subject itself, and I wanted to run away from it. But for some reason, fate basically just brought me back. And
Janie.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I ended up then basically choosing now chartered accountancy as a profession that I want to pursue when I got in grade 12.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to unpack that. But, like today, what motivates you on a daily basis? What gets you out of bed? What is that one thing you're like, wow, this is the reason why I'm getting out of bed today?
Well, after I got married, and then I have kids. So, that realization that there are people that are dependent on you. So that is really the one thing, that encourages me, that wants me basically to go out, knowing that what I do has basically, an impact, on the lives basically of the people that are dear and then close to me. So that's the encouragement basically that I get, every single day, in terms of going out, hustling, and then doing what I need to do, to support my family.
Yeah.
And also basically, training and development, which is something that I'm very passionate about, because that's what I've been doing for most of my life, like being a tutor, for example, at UNAM and at Rhodes.
Yeah.
So I basically just, want to invest, the little that I know,
Right.
so I can make a difference in somebody else's life.
You did preempt me a bit there, because I was going to ask if you had a side hustle, or what your side hustle was, and what your thoughts are regarding side hustles.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think maybe I'll kind of like run a tutorial session of some sort.
Education,
because
yeah.
I mean, if I was not doing what I'm doing right now, I'll probably be lecturing, like at UNAM.
Right.
Because I mean, or at NAST, any of our local institution, because like I've indicated, training and development is something that I really, is close to my heart. I do it basically, if salary was not an issue, and then basically, I didn't need money, then basically this is what I'll be doing, all my life. Yeah.
How do you stay on top of your game? I mean, I can only imagine, and in some of the conversations that I've had regarding accounting or being a CA, it's a high functioning and it's a high demanding job. Waking up, you have 4 children, you're a married man, you have so much else going on, but then this is still something that you're trying to pursue and something that you're working on. How do you stay on top of the game, ensuring that you are always 100%? You did allude to you're also very passionate about educating and being a tutor and just really talking to younger people and developing their skills. But from that perspective, how do you stay on top of your game? What's going on?
Well, I think the first thing that one must realize is the limited amount of time, that everybody, has.
Yeah.
So how I stay, on top of what I do, is really scheduling, all the activities basically that I need to do, and then identifying that which is important. And then I'll make sure that, I spend, my most productive time on the activities that are very important. So every day when I wake up, so I have a calendar, that I need to pursue. And then every sphere of my life, basically, that is very important to me, either family or work or maintaining relationship, outside the work, I basically put it on my calendar. And then basically I need to ensure that by the end of the day, I must have spent the time, that is allocated, that's available actually in the day.
Right.
And then basically, at the right, time, I do what I need to do, in that particular respect. So in our profession, so you need basically to continually update yourself, in terms of what's happening within the technical standards, because that's basically what we get to be busy with almost like, every single day.
Right.
So allocating time, to ensure that you read up and then, you engage, you consult, and then you get, every bit of help basically that you need. So the benefit or the good news in our environment, there we work with highly, intelligent people that support us, in our job. Yeah, so basically making time, to reach out to those, so at least you can tap into the knowledge and then you then be able to apply that, on your day-to-day job.
Just to pivot a bit, you did touch on training and development. How would you say is the greatest, or what rather would you say is the greatest value in training and development?
Okay, well, I'll look at it from the perspective of what one try to achieve when you spend, time, money and energy basically in training and development, is that you want ultimately to get, high-performing individuals, in that particular respect. So when basically I get somebody who's able to take that which they have learned and then pass it on and replicate it,
Right.
Then basically I believe that I have achieved my goal as far as now training and development, is concerned. So getting somebody who's highly motivated, then you are most likely also to get somebody who's a high performer. And then that's what we're trying to do, because I mean, you understand Namibia, we really are kind of like lacking the necessary skills. So you'd want to ensure that, at the time and the energy that you spend, it's basically going to result in that particular individual that you have trained passing on the same to somebody else, and then of course replication will happen then in the process.
You have quite an interesting hobby, which earned you the nickname Ninja. When in my introduction, I did mention a bit on that. Care to spill the beans?
Well, yeah. So growing up, I think when I was in grade 5. So I started attending official, martial art classes.
Okay.
So now I was the only one in the street.
Okay.
So what I did then is that over the weekend, I would then run my own classes, trying to kind of replicate that which I've learned, during the week, and teaching basically my peers that were not fortunate enough to be able to attend those classes.
Right.
So then in the process, they then started calling me, we're going to Ninja's classes, So that's basically how I picked up the name. So and then the name sticked, because when I moved from primary school to secondary school, and then from secondary school to UNAM, I moved basically with my friends, and then they started calling me. So that's why most people actually know me as Ninja. And then if you say Samuel, they'll be like, okay, who's that?
Right.
But yeah, so that's how I basically picked up the name. And currently, me and my entire family, that includes my wife, so we basically have taken up, martial art as a hobby. So, and then we do the Shotokan style. So in a local dojo, like in Koma style. So it's something basically that I like.
So it's a whole family affair also, yeah?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for the young one now, who is 4 years old, to at least turn 5 before he can.
So you kill it on the books, you kill it, you in the dojo. Definitely a man of many talents. Now, this man. So clearly, education has been a big part of your life. If you took your karate or your ninja classes, as it were, and you decided to try and replicate that within, when you would go back home. How did that really help and shape the man that you are today, and what did that do for you? Because in as much as that was just a part of your life, but if that was part of your life in terms of your training and your karate classes, what did that do for you? What did that do to you?
So I think it really just helped me realize what is important in life, and then that's giving.
Right.
Because most of the time we focus ourselves on taking, but yet, that's one of the value that I've learned from my father, because he was like a self-made, mechanic that he had learned basically on the job. And then in the process, so I've seen him basically giving his life and his time basically training young ones that are coming through his garage. And then I kind of clicked in terms of what is really, the most important thing in life, and that is to make a difference in somebody else's life. And then that's why, I live my life now basically to give, and not necessarily basically to take. So every encounter that I have with somebody is always, okay, what can I give? To this particular individual, either in terms of monetary value or basically just, some form of experience or understanding that I picked up, that I think they don't have. And then without necessarily thinking, what can I get in return?
Right.
Because the reason why, the whole idea of getting, I think that's why it got us to the place where we are a bit selfish, and then we are basically not making the impact that we should. No,
definitely. Before we let you go, you are a man of 4 children. You come from a big family, but in all of that, Namibia is still your family. Also, you are part of the Namibian house. What are your hopes for the future of the land of the brave?
I have a lot of hope for Namibia, but the one thing that comes out is really to come to a place where, as a nation, that we start being sustainable. We start industrializing, and then basically start consuming, producing everything that we consume, because we're so much dependent, on imports,
right.
And then everything else basically that we do. So if Namibia can come to a place where, we as, the citizens, move to the level of the mindset of producing everything basically that we produce, then I think, we would have done a good job, as a nation.
Ninja, thank you so much for your time. We really, really are inspired, and we love your story, man. Wishing you all the best, and yeah.
No, thank you very much.
That was Samuel Ndahangwapo, PwC Assurance partner, talking to us, or our role hustler for this morning, sharing with us his hopes, aspirations, and of course his story of being a ninja in the streets of Oshakati. It is 99 FM, your inspiration station.
Royal Hustlers was proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation.
Good today, better tomorrow.